Hi guys, welcome back to Be Rich. Happy Saturday. Today I want to talk about the BAT and ITC sale. Now that it's come and gone and the block deals have been done, I thought I'll do a follow-up video on what's happened with those block deals and who are those people who are invested in those and what does it mean. By the end of the video, you should come to an understanding as a retail investor, as a long-term investor, what does it mean for us? What are the lessons to learn from this? And what can we do with this information? And what should we do about ITC going forward? So if you noticed, British American Tobacco, BAT, had announced out of their 29% stake, they were going to sell 3.5% stake, bringing it down to 25.5. That way, to keep control over their veto rights and be able to influence ITC going forward still. They strongly believe in ITC as a brand, and they're very vocal about it, that they don't plan to liquidate from this position any further because they don't want to lose a strategic hold they have over ITC. And do realize BAT and ITC have a long history going back almost 120 years. So there is a lot of deep history between both the companies, and we have seen this play out in public and in private over the years. So what happened was BAT was under severe pressure. To recap, that is, BAT was under severe pressure from their investors in Europe and in US to lower their debt. And to do this, they had their crown jewel, which is ITC, which is currently valued at good valuations in India. So they were forced by their investors to liquidate around 3.5%. They did this through block deals to raise around 17,485 crores. And it involved around 43 crore worth of shares of ITC, which traded hands. And most of this was sold at the price of 400 rupees and 25 paise each. And that's slightly below the previous closing price of 404.25 per share. This was a significant move by BAT because, like I said, they needed to raise the money. But what was more interesting was it was all done through block deals, and all these block deals were done into major institutions. And who are these institutions? There are over 30 institution investors encompassing this foreign portfolio investors who have put money into ITC. And also, of course, some prominent local Indian mutual funds have also pumped in money into ITC. So the prominent Indian mutual funds which have put money into is of course Axis Mutual Funds. ICICI Prudential Mutual Funds is one of the larger ones. Then HDFC Mutual Funds has put in a lot of money in. And other participating in the block deals alongside the FPIs was the International Monetary Fund has put in money. And the People's Bank of China has bought into ITC. And the Blackstone Group has bought into ITC. But out of all of them, the largest seems to be, and the one which has drawn most attention is, of course, the Singapore government. The government of Singapore has purchased around 91 million shares of ITC. So at 400.25, which is quite a large chunk government of Singapore has done. And if you look at the government of Singapore, where have they put their money in previously? And if you see that they have their investments in companies like Devian International, Data Patterns, and Munkin Pharma, Astral, and PVR, and all of these information is available to you online. If you go and search Singapore government somewhere like in Trendline, you can see the kind of money Singapore government has put in and which companies they've purchased into and when they purchased it and which exchange they purchased in, the price they purchased in, the quantity they purchased in. It's all there. The only thing which I'm seeing recent which they had sold was in March 31st, 2023 was Phoenix Mills, where they had sold a bulk of around 5 million shares. But I'm not asking you to look into Singapore government and follow Singapore government as a blueprint to invest in their own strategies. They're a sovereign fund and they're looking at to invest for their people, and they're doing this across the globe. You cannot follow the Singapore government as a blueprint. That's not my intention here. So I hope that was not conveyed as my intention. What I wanted to share was that these are big institutions which have invested money into ITC. And that, as a retail investor, is something for us to pay attention to. If large institution investors, that too sovereign funds, are pouring money into ITC, that means two things. One, ITC is currently valued at a very good price. That means they believe ITC has a lot more growth. Even in the short term, they see a lot of prospects for ITC to grow. Two, that they believe in ITC as a company and what they're doing in terms of management is also it's the right moves that ITC is making. It gives a vote of confidence, not only from Indian investors and Indian analysts, it also gives a vote of confidence from people who are putting their real money behind it. These people have a lot of money and they're choosing to put it into ITC, and they're making these block deals for the simple reason they plan to hold on to these shares for a very long time. Usually they do not sell holdings like this for a very long time. And you can look into companies, for sovereign funds like Singapore, for that reason is why I mentioned it, to see how long they buy and hold a share for or an investment for. So as a long-term investor, if you look at it, it gives you great vote of confidence. And if you do think of putting ITC into your consideration list, it is not a bad thing to do, because ITC, even this current evaluation, is a wonderful thing to hold on to if you're planning to hold on for the long term. If you're planning to hold on ITC for at least for the next 5 to 10 years, these evaluations are fantastic and nothing wrong with it. And these are the same evaluations where all of BAT's positions were sold and liquidated by institutional investors. Nothing was left on the table for the BAT to offer to anybody else. So this is the main reason why I want to talk about this video. I had spoken about BAT coming up with the sale. Then I spoke about how on the day of the sale, we saw the prices going up by 9%, 8%, and retail investors feeling rather sore about it. Those of you whom wanted to pick this up at a bargain of 380, 375. What had happened was it boomerang and gone up by 9% because of the simple reason. Most people believe ITC current evaluation is a wonderful buy and it's something worth considering. What, of course, also helped ITC on that day was the fire sale which was happening in small cap and medium cap. And a lot of those investors were flocking for security. And ITC is always considered to be a secure place to keep your money in the short term and long term. So that's another reason why we saw ITC prices surging on that day. So I hope it kind of gives you an insight on how these block deals work, how institutional investors and sovereign funds work, and how they invest money into a place like India and why they decide to do it. This is aside from all the politics, this is aside from all the macroeconomics. This is purely based on what ITC as a company is doing and the profits they're able to generate and their growth prospects in India and abroad and the roadmap they've drawn out. So what will be interesting to see is when ITC does demerge its hotel business and its FMCG business, each of these sovereign funds and wealth funds and mutual funds, and all of them will be eligible for the split, and they'll all have equal holdings on both. It'll be curious to see at that point of time what call does the government of Singapore take on holding to ITC hotels or any of the other companies. So this is something to watch and intellectually to learn from. Anyway, I hope you found this video informative and interesting as always, and I'll see you in the next one soon. Bye.
It's a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.